up, everybody, and welcome to Tale of the Tape, brought to you by Gym Bag Entertainment. And this is the Combat Sports Show by guys who love combat sports. As always, it's your host, your boy Craig, here with my co-host,
your KO commentator, Michael Johnson. I might have used that one before, but pandemic resets things. You know? So.
Oh man, we here. And it's it is the pandemic, lockdown, and so we can't get into the studio. So we're here in the living room, giving it to you, grimy and gritty. And we're gonna jump right into it. UFC on ESPN 15. Frankie Edgar versus Munoz, and that started off awesome in a catchweight fight.
Yes.
With
I didn't write the actual weight down. I think it was one. I don't remember.
I think it was in the lightweight. But maybe 160
I think it was
or something
160 because he couldn't make 155.
Yeah, because it was a short notice fight.
Absolutely.
In the catchweight, Trevin Jones versus Timmer Valet, Valet.
Yep.
And this was great. Trevor Jones coming in on 1 week's notice.
Yep.
And putting on a great show.
Oh, great show by both men. This was a great card for the up-and-comers to, make themselves a standout. Put themselves ahead of the pack for these young people coming out. Round one, Timmer Valet, super active, all over the place.
Yep.
Great footwork. They're slinging back and forth. That front ball kick to the sternum, which is a great weapon in mixed martial arts, used by all the greats. Hits Trevin Jones so hard, crumbles him.
Drops him hard.
Tries to stay with it, falls back to the cage. Villanueva looked like he thought that was the end there.
Yeah, and that's my problem. Some people will be like, "Oh, the ref gave Jones too much time," but Villanueva hit him and then looks to the ref to stop the fight. Right. When he doesn't, then returns back to action. And it's not your job to tell the ref when the fight's over. It's your job to stop fighting when the ref tells you. So if the ref, I love a horse.
He didn't even hit the mat.
No, he just sat down
and fell against the cage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Jorge Masvidal said it best. It was super necessary. It's my job to fight until the ref pulls me off.
Going. Absolutely, and he didn't.
And it was a mistake to his grave error.
And Jones covered up that front real good. Vallanueva started shooting shots to the side, hit him in the body a couple more times, but he protected that sternum good, and that's what was hurt.
Yeah.
And recovered last the round, but Vallanueva wins an easy 10-8.
Oh, 10-8, easy.
But then the second round, we got a different Trevin Jones. He recovers well.
Yeah.
They mix it up again, and then he
takes
lands
the advice
a shot.
of his corner very well.
Yep, lands himself a right hook. Vallanueva, starts reeling, falls down, gets back up, gets hit with another shot, drops down again. Good stoppage by the ref.
Yeah.
KO round 2, minute and 59 seconds.
Excellent fight by two fighters. Trevin Jones showed some great fortitude and an ability to adjust. Vallanueva, I think,
showed a great all-around skill set. Just got hit with a good shot.
I believe he's the better fighter in this fight.
Honestly,
but
he did show the better skill set, but he got caught. Maybe perhaps that he thought he still had him hurt in the second round.
Whatever it was, but both these fighters I want to see again.
And both men will be better.
You know what?
After this fight,
I wouldn't even be mad if they got a rematch. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If the next time we see them fight. Yeah.
Absolutely.
In the welterweight division, Matthew Semmelberger versus Carlton Minus.
This was an interesting fight. I liked it.
Yeah.
Competitive. Neither guy I knew. They're both, debuting guys.
Yeah.
Semmelberger, strong and well-rounded.
Yeah.
Throwing hard shots the whole time with a good gas tank.
Taking him down,
for that
too,
type
right?
of pace, well-rounded, taking him down. Good in the clinch. Carlton Minus with no answer for much of what Semmelberger was bringing.
Very good striking.
He did.
He was very accurate.
He had quite a good karate base. I remember commenting on during the fight. He had his hips set way back.
Yeah.
It was almost reminiscent of Lyoto Machida with a better hand defense.
Oh, okay.
Because he had the hands up nice and good. He didn't need too many shots. But he had no answer for Semmelberger's offense.
Yeah, he was definitely outmatched. But I liked both fighters. I liked the fight a lot.
Again, two up-and-comers that I'd love to see fight again.
Exactly.
Unanimous decision for Semmelberger.
Awesome. And then in the light heavyweight division, what a good fight. Jordan Wright versus Ike Villanueva.
Yeah, what we got was great.
Yeah.
You know, we only got a minute and 31 seconds. But Villanueva's a guy who is known in the MMA scene. He takes a pounding and keeps coming.
Mm-hmm.
Well-rounded skills, hits hard guy to put away. Jordan Wright, up-and-comer, he's got a lot of skills for such a big guy.
Actually is a middleweight.
Right.
Fighting in
he weighed in at 200 even.
200 even, and it was on short notice. Like, I think it was less than a week.
Right, so he doesn't cut weight, just comes in and fights, puts on a display, hits Ike Villanueva with a big wheel kick right to start off.
Right, and almost ended up.
Looks like Junior Dos Santos Mark Hunt, where it clips him in the top of the head, and he kind of fell like that, but he wasn't as out as Mark Hunt was.
Yeah.
Villanueva, hard to put away, like I said, gets back up, exchanges, finds himself in the clinch, and Jordan Wright with some big knees.
Yo, Jordan Wright's knees, if he goes into middleweight,
dude,
it's gonna be dangerous.
He's got to be, 6'3"?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he got them knees so high, like, the cage is 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
And you could see the point of his knee was coming over the top of the cage, to hit Villanueva in the face.
And the very first knee blows him up.
Nasty. And, you've seen in the replay, the slow motion, how much blood came out right after the knee. It was such a nasty spot in the curve of the eye, and it was really ripped open.
I feel bad for Villanueva.
It was the nature of the cut. It wasn't straight. It was a real.
It was ripped and it hung.
It was a real tear of a cut. So any more damage could, that can cause real lasting damage.
Yeah.
When you have
plus you're gonna have blood just falling.
When
in
you
your
have
eye.
something flapping, yeah. I mean, he wasn't gonna be able to see.
No.
Plus, I think that's why they stopped it on the Nate Diaz Jorge Masvidal. When you got something flapping, where if you take more damage to that, it could really rip off a huge chunk of your face. It's messed up.
And that's like some. You need plastic surgery for that.
Like that's what we would be talking about.
I agreed with the stoppage. It was definitely good.
I mean, Doc
Made
looked
sense.
at it once and called the ref over and shook his head.
Yeah,
no way.
we're done.
Yeah.
I always feel bad when a fighter loses due to a cut and not because, he lost a decision or got knocked out or
especially
submitted.
with a guy like this who's so tough.
Yeah.
But I feel like we would have saw 3 rounds of Jordan Wright beating on Villanueva.
Beating on him.
Yeah,
because it's not like he's a guy who has a huge gas tank.
Unless he was able to withstand and maybe perhaps Jordan Wright would have gassed a little bit on the short
we don't know
notice,
what his gas tank looks like.
especially on the short notice.
Yeah. And with extra weight that he's not used to carrying.
But
so
he didn't have to find out.
Yeah, he did not. I can't wait to see this dude fight in the middleweight division.
Absolutely.
I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
It might sound like a jump, but give him Chris Weidman.
You know what? In my head, I had Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall is like that guy that says, "Yeah, you could be here."
That's pretty good.
But
I think that's too much of a test. Because Uriah,
you put Uriah over Weidman.
Oh, I do.
Yeah? I mean,
these days.
Well, I mean, Chris Weidman coming off a huge victory.
And still the solid experience of a person like that. But I mean, I feel like,
Okay. I mean, hey, I think either fight would be awesome to see. I think it would be a great testimony to his ability.
Some great striking from Jordan Wright. We got to see him fight somebody soon.
Absolutely.
Oh, what about Marvin Vittori, who's dying to fight somebody?
Oh,
nobody in the top 15 wants to fight him.
Yeah.
Take the newcomer on.
Take the newcomer on. I love that fight. Yeah. I love that fight. Okay. All right, and then the main event of the prelims in the strawweight division, Amanda Lemos versus Mazuki and Noel.
Yes.
Inoue?
Yeah, Inoue.
Yeah. Yo, this fight was awesome.
It was great. 2 hard-hitting strawweight women, honestly. And 2 enduring, tough strawweight women.
Do they make them any tougher than Mazuki?
Yeah, honestly, the only thing is she was getting tagged up, and she had to react to every shot. Which lined her up for combinations after a while, because she was reacting poorly to every shot that she ate. Yeah. She had to put her hands up and turn her head to the side because she was getting hurt over and over, but never quit.
But not only never quit, but was pressing the action.
Crazy, well-rounded skills. That was the only negative that I seen from her, that she was getting beat because she reacted poorly to getting struck. whereas Amanda Lemos was better at absorbing damage and keep coming forward.
Yeah, she looked real good, man.
And super powerful striker on Amanda Lemos. Like, I feel like she hits half of the strawweight division with some of them shots and they'll go down.
Might go down, yeah.
Mazuki was so tough.
She was just eating, like, I couldn't believe it. Like, you're not only eating these shots, but, like, you're walking her down.
And it looked, like I said, it looked like she was, taking them hard and she didn't like it and was reacting bad, but still coming forward and throwing hard.
Like, even though I don't like to get hit, I ain't no punk bitch.
Yeah, it was good. It was a cool fight back and forth. But Amanda Lemos definitely made a statement, and she made a call out at the end. I'm trying to remember. Somebody, Mackenzie Dern.
Yes.
Because of her jiu-jitsu pedigree.
Yeah.
I believe they grappled before in a tournament against each other.
Really?
And Dern got the win, and Lemos is upset about that and wants to see her in the UFC.
I wouldn't mind seeing that
I believe
fight.
she said with a mad face on, Mackenzie Dern, you can't hide from me forever, and then ripped her headset off, if I remember correctly. So, that's pretty exciting.
That's really exciting. That's how you get a fight.
We don't see that in the women's division.
And that's how you get a fight. That's how you get the fight you want.
And
when you call someone out like that.
You see it in the men's division, it works.
Yeah.
So
because
I like to see that.
Dana White don't let people run.
Mm-hmm.
He don't let people run, and when someone makes, like, I feel like the most prime example of that is Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
Like, they made a belt for that.
Mm-hmm.
Dana White is all about, like, making things happen for the fans and the fighters.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't think there's a better fight promoter than Dana White.
Obviously, though, I do think Amanda Lemos, this was her debut, though. I believe she's got a little work to do.
Oh, of course.
Mackenzie Dern's a pretty high-profile strawweight, just got a big submission win. I think she's got another fight planned already, to tell you the truth. I don't know who, but I think I've seen that recently. So, I don't know, man. Lemos in the strawweight division.
Hey, if she thinks she's ready, I say if she's wrong, she's gonna eat some humble pie, and if she's right, then she just gave herself a huge lift.
I ain't mad at it because Dern's like, yeah, she's coming off the knee bar win, but she had a loss before that, so she's still kind of in the middle of the pack. She's a little high ranked, but that's because the low number of strawweight women in general. But yeah, that's a good fight.
All right, in the welterweight division, beginning the main event, Daniel Rodriguez versus Dwight Grant. What a show.
Another great fight. The up-and-comers are hungry, man.
Hungry.
They we talked about before, like, champions getting comfortable and not fighting to win, but fighting to not get hurt and to keep their belt. Fighting not to lose. These young kids fight to win.
Oh, yeah.
They come out with real aggression, and it's just fun to watch. Daniel Rodriguez, second fight in the UFC, came off that big win against Tanner Boser.
Yeah.
We were both real impressed with his boxing. Dwight Grant, who's had two big KOs in the UFC, I was real excited. Dwight drops Rodriguez in the first round just because he won the footwork battle.
Yeah.
They were both trying to get that outside foot on the lead leg, and Daniel Rodriguez stepped in the middle, and Dwight, had the better footwork positioning, lands the right hand, drops him down. I've got to give him technique of the week for that because it was
technique of the week.
It was just foot positioning, which the average fan probably wouldn't see.
Yeah.
And they just see he lands the right hand and drops him.
But there's more to it.
But leading up to him getting dropped, they're both fighting for that foot position. I've seen it, and they both can't measure their jab because they can't get that foot position. Rodriguez gets reckless and steps out of position while Dwight, was staying on his technique. He finds the foot position, lands the right hand immediately. As soon as Rodriguez strays away from being technical is when he gets hit. You know what I mean? That's why it's technique of the week. Beautiful. And, drops him. But, again, great refereeing. Dude wasn't out.
Nope, was not out.
He moved every time he had to. Dwight swarming, landing shots, gets the back control for the whole rest of the round. You know what I mean? Pretty much landing shots, like, but then 2 minutes, for half a round, he's on his back landing shots, but I think he just spent too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, was the big
and that's
story.
a problem too. You get overexcited sometimes. You expend your energy.
And in these events where you got dudes coming in short notice, fill-ins and stuff like that, you know, you might see a lot of that type of stuff. He swings way too wild. Rodriguez doesn't go out. He gets up. As soon as he's able to stand up, he lands a power left hook that puts Dwight Grant on his butt. He gets up, is surviving. Rodriguez knows he's hurt, starts pouring on the big left hand.
And just puts
He actually, he lands a big left hand, drops him down to his knees, limp. He gets back up, and he lands another right hand and drops him down again.
Yeah, it was, man. And that's when the ref had to come in. That's when the
ref stepped in. Good stoppage.
Real good stoppage. I mean, you could see it. His eyes were glazing. And
hats off to both refs with those fights that went back and forth like that. Because, you know, it's obvious that dude wasn't done.
No.
You know?
Refs doing a really good job. Yeah. I'm liking some of these new refs.
I believe that was Chris Tione. He's an older dude, the bald dude with like the white beard.
Yep.
He's been doing a pretty good job, it seems. You know?
I like him, and I don't know his name, but who's the bald, the clean shaved bald black dude?
Oh, he's a little light skinned.
Yeah, a little bit.
I can't think of his name.
I like him. He's becoming one of my more favorite refs.
Yeah, I agree.
He don't take no shit, and like he just refs a fifth.
I thought he might have done the main event.
He might have.
Past card. Yeah, they're using him quite a bit. I like him.
All right, in the women's...
that was a KO round 1, 2 minutes 24 seconds. Action packed.
It was action packed. Beautiful fight. Women's flyweight division fight that I was super excited for and very happy with the result. Shayna Dobson, not Shauna. She don't want to be called Shauna Dobson. Shayna Dobson versus Maria Agapova.
Agapova, she's a crazy person.
Yeah.
I mean, she's had pretty good success in the UFC. She did get a submission win, and she puts everything out there right away. I don't know if she took this one last minute or something, but she just completely gassed herself.
She came out super duper wild.
Was more the story than anything. And Dobson was just smart, weathered the storm, solid grappling. You know,
she got a good ground game.
Good punches. Yeah, wrestling is what won it for her, I think, for sure. Agapova was all over her with strikes in round 1, but spent the entire gas tank in round 1. And then, you know, Dobson weathered the storm. I'll give Agapova round 1 for sure.
Yeah.
But the solid ground game in the second really, you know, just was the name of the game, and she held it down. Just started beating on her. Gets the stoppage at minute 38 in round 2. But I do think it was more because Agapova had nothing.
Nothing left in the tank. I agree with you. But hey, I like my girl Shayna Dobson. I've been waiting for her to get a victory in the UFC.
Good
and she gets it. It's a good win. Can't wait to see what she has next.
Now 4-4, back to 500. Thankfully, it had to be tough to be 3 wins, 4 losses. You know, to be
one of the few fighters in the UFC with a losing record.
Right, with a losing pro record. Yeah, I mean, you got to start questioning your career. So you know, keep your head up and keep fighting, Dobson. That's awesome.
All right, lightweight division: Joe Selecki versus Austin Hubbard. What a fucking clinic. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that. What a clinic.
This is one of them fights, like I was saying, that, you know, you had 2 guys that, you know, are looking at the sky's the limit for their career. You know, they keep getting better. And Joe Selecki showed that, you know, he's a cut above. Yeah. You know, he showed that he needs to stand out in the pack. And I'd like to see him fight a top 15 after this.
I mean,
Austin
reminiscent of Damian Maia.
Austin Hubbard's a fantastic fighter. He's good all around. But this fight proved Joe Selecki's worth. Yeah. Not that Austin Hubbard is bad in any way.
Exactly. You know what it reminds me of? Is the fight between Damian Maia and Carlos Condit.
Yeah.
It was like almost the exact same fight.
Right, because you know that a guy like Condit has solid skills.
Yeah.
But to see that done to him is like, you know, it just shows how good the other guy is.
How good he is.
So this kid, Joe Selecki, is somebody to watch for sure. Serious control. He baited him into the grappling exchange with the striking. He was better striking than Hubbard was too. Once he gets it back, though, he doesn't relinquish it. Climbs on him. Body lock.
and literally climbed up on him. It wasn't on the ground.
Body lock standing, too, was incredible. I mean, the control was perfect. The choke was sunk so deep, too. I mean, Hubbard was so disappointed in himself because he didn't get not 1 minute of offense.
No.
You know?
No, if it were around, it would have been 10-8.
Yeah. And Joe Selecki just calm, gets the choke, 3 minutes, 51 seconds of round 1. He's a threat.
Yeah.
He's a lightweight threat because the kid is super young and he gets better every time.
All right, in the light heavyweight division, Mike Rodriguez versus Marcin Prachnio.
Marcin Prachnio. Yeah, Mike Rodriguez.
I made it through almost the whole card without a correction.
Mike Rodriguez, a Muay Thai guy that I've known about for a while. He's competed in MMA. It tends to be like when he competes in an MMA, they tend to put him with a grappler and he ends up getting submitted. His striking is incredible, though.
Yeah, his striking is ridiculous.
He should stay. To me, he'd be, world champion kickboxer, but he loves MMA.
Yeah.
And
he could always work on a ground game.
Right.
You could develop it if you stay long enough.
But, I mean, this was just a striking masterclass. The clinch, it was a clinch seminar from Marcin Prachnio. That once he found himself in the Muay Thai plum, it was all Rodriguez. Them inside upward elbows was stinging him on the side of the head, and then he lands a forward one straight to the mouth.
Oh, yeah.
And he does the chicken dance. But when he follows him up, he lands 2 straight lefts down on him that were devastating. And
that was a beautiful finish.
That was a straight knockout, no TKO. Round 1, 2 minutes, 17 seconds. That was wonderful, wonderful performance by Rodriguez.
All right, and now we have the main event in the bantamweight division, making his debut, Frankie Edgar versus Pedro Munoz. And I feel like the one thing I feel like people should know, like going into this fight, is I don't know if it was his last fight, but his most notable last fight is when he knocks out Garbrandt.
Oh yeah, Pedro Munoz got some big time wins.
Yeah,
Cody Garbrandt got hit with a big punch in their fight and got mad and decided to slug it out with Munoz, and then realized that Munoz had a better chin than him. Garbrandt might hit a little harder than Munoz.
And he throws faster.
But Munoz's chin stood up in that fight. Because Munoz hits hard, too.
Yeah, he does.
Hard enough.
Yeah, he hits hard.
And, we've seen more of that in this fight. What a strategic fight. I mean, great job by Frankie Edgar with his movement, as always. I mean, the man's 38 and can still move like that for 5 rounds and fight with that pace, throwing over 350 strikes. And shooting in attempting 8 takedowns over 5 rounds. I mean, the man's got still a crazy gas tank.
Oh, man.
Even at his age, even cutting down to 135 pounds.
I felt like he was
super
amazing.
Impressive. Vintage Frankie Edgar. Great counter shots.
Yep.
Great motion around the cage. It's hard when you look at octagon control as one of the judging criteria, because, I always say, if the guy's moving around the cage on the back foot, but he's the one scoring and not getting hit, then he's the one with the octagon control. That's not necessarily the case here. If we break it down to numbers, all right? Because Frankie comes away with the split decision win. However, in total strikes, Munoz outscored him almost every round.
Really?
Almost every round.
Okay.
For a total, Frankie threw 363 and lands 135 significant. Munoz threw 350 and lands 166 significant. That's a big gap.
Yeah.
Especially because Munoz on some of them rounds was ahead 8 to 10 strikes for the round.
Wow.
And I don't think any of us can argue that Munoz's punches had much more effect.
Yes.
You know what I'm
saying?
I
agree with that.
Frankie was wearing that damage. Frankie landed a lot of nice punches, but he never wobbled Pedro once. You know what I mean? A couple times Frankie got pushed back from some big right hands.
Didn't Munoz have more of the look of damage though than Frankie?
He did. Well,
yeah. I felt like he had the blood on his face.
He because he had a nice cut on the side.
Yeah.
You know, nose is bleeding, had a little bit of mouth blood. You know, at the end though, Frankie's, you know, the swelling started
swelled up.
setting in,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
his face looked pretty busted in the interview. Yeah, it's tough. Pedro had the leg kicks going. You know, so 166 of those significant strikes, you know, a portion of those got to go to the leg kicks, you know?
Yep.
So when you see Frankie landing what seems to be more punches, maybe the judges sway that way more, you know what I mean? Because it might, you know, a lot of judges might not take leg kicks into account as better. And, you know, what did they call the aggression in the control? Because I have to give that to Pedro.
I give the aggression
every
control.
round.
Yeah. To be honest
he's
with
coming
you,
forward. If they're landing even,
yeah.
and he's coming forward,
Now let me ask you this:
that's tough.
do you have at least 2 rounds that you give Frankie?
I do. Second round, Frankie Edgar won hands down.
Yeah.
He started mixing in the takedown beautifully.
Yeah.
That's where he scores his 2 takedowns out of the 8 attempts. Was in the second round.
Yeah.
You know, and even just the fakes of the takedown was helping him land quite a bit of punches, and he outstruck Pedro. I think it was 31 to like 18 in the second round.
Wow.
So yeah, he definitely takes that. And I can give him one of the late rounds. 4 and 5 are both real close, you know. So Frankie could take either one of them. But I definitely seen absolutely 3 clear rounds for Munoz.
Okay.
But
yeah, because see, for me, I said this to you before. I believed that Pedro won the fight.
Yes.
But I was happy with the decision because I wanted Edgar to win the fight,
Yeah.
and I think
it's
we're all
hard not to pull for Frankie Edgar, you know, and it's hard not to have those biases when you love a certain fighter.
I feel like I have this bias sometimes. I can fight through the bias. I know when I'm wrong, but like I'll still want to believe it. But when you're watching a fight and the fighter you like is fighting someone that like you like but you don't care, you know, you want it. You see things better for your fighter. But I will say this, like, I kept being to myself, like, Frankie can turn it around.
Yeah.
Not like Frankie's winning. Frankie can turn it around.
Now, I remember when they're reading the decision, I'm saying to myself, like, Pedro Munoz won that fight.
Yeah.
Like, not in a happy tone,
yeah,
but just looking at it objectively.
Yeah.
And they call it for Frankie, and I was like, ooh, okay. I'm happy that he ends up with the win. Objectively, don't think it's the right decision.
Yeah, you know what? I think we're at a point now where, like, in fighting, when fights come to a decision, I feel like there's got to be... I feel like they need to come out with some sort of explanation.
Yes.
Like there should be a fight report where the judges explain what they saw and why they awarded. Because maybe, exactly. Show your work. We learned that in school.
How'd you get there?
Show your work.
How'd you get to this conclusion?
I feel like that's a big thing that needs to be addressed, and I want to see what I really want to start seeing that, because we have these discussions all the time where we're talking about we don't understand how they got to this decision. Like, let us know that. Fans like us would want to see it.
Right, because I mean, we break it down to these numbers, you know, we go round by round, and
it doesn't add up.
If we follow the rules of the scoring system and then we look at these numbers and it doesn't make sense to us,
make it make sense.
Yeah, make it make sense.
You know,
absolutely. And when you got 41 out of 50 media outlets calling it for Munoz, there's a problem there.
There is a problem, man.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
And when you got 9 out of 10 UFC competitors calling it for Munoz, you know.
I mean, we have said in the past, former fighters would probably make better judges.
Right.
So we'll see what happens in the future. I don't know about you, but I got 2 bits of news I want to throw out before we get into this. Before we get to this preview. First bit of news is slightly laughable. I don't know if you saw this or not, but Bellator star Patricio Ferrari, who is a 2-weight champion in Bellator, featherweight and lightweight, says he'll bet Dana White $1 million that he can beat the stars in either division.
Yeah.
Not only the stars, but the champions.
Yeah.
You're talking about beating Alexander Volkov, who beat arguably not only one of the UFC's best champs ever.
Because he said he would love to fight Volkanovski so he could own Max's belt. Because he called it Max's. So he threw some respect towards Max.
Exactly.
But none towards Alex.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're
for
talking
beating
about
Max twice.
Beating him twice.
Yeah.
The man who beat one of the best not one of the best featherweight champs, but one of the best champions the UFC's ever owned. He beat him twice. And you're talking about beating a man who's never been beaten. Yeah. The top of the top of the top have come against this man, and every single one of them have fallen to a victory that is just shy of perfection. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, the man wins like 10-8 rounds almost every single fight.
Yeah, and my thing is, I get it. I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, these topics came up. He didn't start these topics, Patricio.
Oh.
Like, these things came from the media.
Yeah.
Asking these questions. What do you think about a Bellator cross promotion fight? Mm-hmm. Things like that. And Dana said, "Come on." You know, when Dana asked, he was like, "This is what they're responding to." Dana White's comments. You know what I mean? Because
Dana White saying you's a punk bitch, and they're like,
because he was like, they're in Bellator for a reason.
Yeah.
He said most of these guys are washouts from our organization.
Yeah, Dana White had something to say about the fact that the owner of Bellator said he has the best light heavyweight division.
He's like, come on, he's got to say it. He's like, who's the champion? Bader? Come on.
He's like, every guy in the light heavyweight division is someone we released.
Yeah, it's like, I let Bader go years ago.
Yeah. Like, literally.
As a middleweight.
Yeah. No, he was light heavyweight because he got beat by Rumble. He was on a tear, and he thought he was gonna fight Jones, but he had to fight Rumble, and Rumble just swallowed him up early first round. I remember that fight.
I mean, I understand the Bellator's fighters saying the stuff that they're saying. You gotta not look, weak.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's be honest. I mean, if he was worth what he's worth, Dana would have tried to hire him.
I mean, this is what I will say. I'll give it this: every fighter in the UFC came from another promotion.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't come out fresh out the gym into the UFC.
Right.
They fought in other promotions.
And not all Bellator fighters are washouts from UFC.
Exactly. I would say at this point now it's probably 50% of their fighters are not. I mean,
right.
They got some stars.
They got some real champions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do believe that, their best champions are past their prime, and if they were such of a good matchup for a UFC champion, Dana would have been searching to try to set that up years ago.
They're also saying
he would have tried to sign them.
There is another thing that I'm hearing.
The best of them, I think, is Michael Chandler, who's a free agent now.
Yes, and he's going to sign to the UFC.
Probably will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I heard that Bellator fighters actually make more than
that
UFC
will tell
fighters.
us the top Bellator, the handful of top Bellator fighters make more than the average UFC fighter.
Okay.
I don't think that Ryan Bader was making more money than John Jones.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Champion for champion.
Yeah.
However, the people below Ryan Bader were making far less than the people below John Jones. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
so on average,
I'm with you.
The UFC pays its top 10 far more than Bellator's top 10, but their champions, that's where all the money's going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I also like...
If you're an up-and-comer in the UFC, you might be able to make $50,000 for your first fight. Some of these no-name guys, you ain't doing that in Bellator.
Is it Diego Lima?
Diego Lima.
I think he could come to the UFC.
Again, I do think some of them could make a big splash in the top 5 of their weight class in the UFC.
Yeah.
But if they were, a real threat to the champ, Dana would have tried to sign him.
Yeah, he would
He
go
would have tried to go out there.
And Michael Venom Page, he might not be the best in there, but he's the most exciting fighter that Bellator has. And I personally think he's
and UFC didn't even try to sign him, even to bring the excitement, because Dana understood that most likely he'll get beat up with regular journeyman fighters.
Yeah. He's a welterweight, right?
It's a skill level above.
He's definitely in danger if he comes to the welterweight division.
And like Patricio Pitbull knows, okay, he's fought some guys that could be in the top 5 of the UFC.
Yeah.
But only a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Because I think you even put...
The likes of Khabib or Justin Gaethje, the guys that he would be fighting, he can't go through that top 5 and face all the likes of them. No way.
No, I don't think so. All right, and then this other piece of news. I don't know if you heard this, but it shocked me. In a way, I kind of really like it.
A lot of pieces of news. So.
Yeah, but these are the only 2 things that literally came to me right now. Because we didn't write nothing down. We had to just get through this show. But this is the one thing. It's like the highlight reel piece of news I wanted to throw in. 12-gauge Paige Van Dant signs with Bare Knuckle.
Crazy.
Bare Knuckle?
Crazy.
Yo.
I'm really excited.
I'm super excited for that.
She's always been a better striker than a grappler.
Correct. And she has wicked good fortitude.
Right. She's tough as hell.
Yeah.
And could her striking be a level above? I think the women in bare knuckle are real gritty.
Yeah.
But they're not top level strikers.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
They hit hard.
They hit hard and take damage well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're exciting to watch fight. She could be very successful.
I think so.
I
think so. I can't wait to see it because, you can say what you want, whatever. What's the weight of a UFC glove? Is it a 4-ounce glove?
Yeah.
So a 4-ounce glove, people are like, oh, it's just barely any padding. Well, compared to a knuckle, it's a lot of padding.
Yeah, and one piece of news I want to talk about.
Yeah.
You hear about Corey Anderson going to Bellator?
Yes. I'm so glad you brought that up.
I thought it was relevant because here's Bellator taking a UFC star in his prime.
Yeah. In his prime, Corey Anderson will be the next champ.
I totally believe that he'll be the light heavyweight champion.
And I think he'll be a reigning champ.
And he cleanly admits that he did it for money.
Wow.
That Bellator is paying him more than the UFC did.
Yeah.
So
because they know he's going to be the star of Bellator.
And I think maybe they seen, Ryan Bader was on his way out.
Yeah.
This guy Nemkov, who just relieved him of his light heavyweight championship recently.
Yeah.
Over the last weekend. Young, crazy striker.
And Corey Anderson strikes me as the type of guy.
It looks like they setting up. It looks like from signing Anderson that they were setting up Nemkov Anderson for the belt.
Yeah.
It's going to be a pretty big fight for them.
And Anderson, with his size, I think he could drop to middle and be a 2-weight champ.
Absolutely.
And I think there's no way he's not going to be.
Yeah.
I
think
that
is
exciting news. Yeah.
I think it's a good move for him. It's catching a lot of trash from people saying, "Oh, you bowing out from the UFC because you can't win." So what? Man wants to win and he wants to keep making more money.
Not only win, but he could be a champion in Bellator. And I don't even though Bellator is like the Canada of UFC, it doesn't matter. It's still a promotion.
You want to be a winner in Canada or a loser in the US?
Exactly. Exactly. Same thing with 12 Gauge. She could go to bare knuckle and be a huge star who wins 3 or 4 fights. Because I feel like bare knuckle is not a longevity type thing. It's not a longevity type thing. She can go in, win 3 or 4 fights, be the greatest strawweight or maybe flyweight champ of bare knuckle boxing. Bing bang boom.
And that cements her legacy in combat sports, no matter how bad she did in the UFC.
And it's bare knuckle, so it puts you in that badass category, yo.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm excited.
So it garners more fans to her brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it, and I don't mind Corey Anderson's move either. I think it's smart for him.
I think that there's a lot of good fighters.
He said that one of the big things that helped him decide is he had a conversation with DC, and DC said, do you want to be the best, or do you want to, what's more important, being the best, or doing this for as long as you can and taking care of what you love?
Yeah.
There
it is. I love that.
And Corey said,
I think there's a lot of fighters.
I had to think of it like a man.
Yeah.
When you're going into fighting, all of us want to, I want to be the best that there is. There comes a point when, after all that damage, after all them hours of training, where you're like, I just don't want to, my legacy to be shit.
Yeah.
I mean?
I don't want to be the guy.
So
I don't want my legacy to be the guy who you have to fight to get to the guy.
Right. Or the guy that lost 5 knockouts in a row because I didn't know when to stop.
Yeah.
Or, there comes a time where you think of things realistically, and it's not just like, I just got to keep fighting to win.
Exactly.
You know?
I agree 100%. And I think that there's a lot of fighters in the UFC who, if they made that move to go to Bellator, would thrive, would make Bellator a more exciting venue to watch, and would not hurt their legacy, but build their legacy up.
Right, and build up the promotion
Because
for Bellator. Like, that increases your legacy overall.
Because I say this is what I say, right? You could be the guy, like we said, a journeyman, or the guy who fought too long in the UFC, or you could be the guys who made Bellator right there. Because right now Bellator is here. Couple guys go from the UFC with some good names. Bellator comes it will never exceed, but it could come right into competition.
Right.
So I think that may be an episode we need to do. Fighters we think should leave the UFC for.
Yeah, and he's doing something right. This guy, the Stuttgart Coker or whatever, the guy who's running it.
I don't know how to say his name.
People flock to him. People say great things about him. Mm-hmm. Even the champs that are leaving, Michael Chandler doesn't show any bad blood for him, even though he wants to be a free agent.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He's doing something right over there.
He's got to be doing something right. I think we maybe need to dive a little bit more into that.
Absolutely.
All right, now we're on to the next event, the upcoming event, UFC Fight Night 175, Smith versus Rakic. And this is This is Saturday, August 29th in the Apex Arena in Las Vegas, where a lot of fights are going to be going on for right now with the smaller octagon. Cracking off this event in the women's strawweight division, Mallory Martin, 6-3, going up against the 10-6 Hannah Cifers.
Yeah, Hannah Cifers had a bad run in the UFC.
Yeah,
she's 2-4. Talking about them losing records in the UFC. 3 losses in a row. She's coming off. TKO lost to Angela Hill. Mm-hmm. Submission loss to Mackenzie Dern. And a TKO against Agapova, the crazy one that just lost to Dobson.
Yeah. Wow.
Mallory Martin, 0-1 in the UFC. Submission loss in her debut versus Verna Yonderova, with the crazy eyes.
Yeah, she's tough.
She's 2019, tough. So she's been out for a bit, Mallory Martin. I don't know. I'm looking to maybe see the rebound of Hannah Cifers.
I have to agree with you. I want a rebound for Hannah Cifers.
She's too tough.
She's a good fighter. She's got caught in a couple situations.
Super strong, great stand-up, and yeah, I want to see what happens here. I want her to win this one.
All right, and then again, in the strawweight division, Polyana Viana, 10-4, going up against the 4-3 Emily Whitmore. Two fighters who were on an up and coming, and I think they both caught a loss.
Yeah, Polyana Viana, 1-3 in the UFC. She's actually coming off 3 losses in a row herself.
Really? Wow.
J.J. Aldrich for a decision. Hannah Cifers' last win, which was before these 3 losses, was against Polyana. And then Veronica Macedo with an armbar against Vienna in the last fight.
Veronica Macedo's tough.
Yeah. And then Emily Whitmire, she's 2-1 in the UFC. She had 2 nice wins. Yeah. And then she ran into Amanda Hebos and got armbarred.
And we know about Amanda Hebos.
Yes.
She brings the heat.
Yeah, she had to cancel the last fight that in early spring versus Polyana because she couldn't make weight. She missed weight and then was going to fight, but then the next day she couldn't fight. They had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, I remember that.
She's a little big for straw weight.
Yeah.
Hopefully it looks like she's going to make weight this time. Haven't seen anything. We'll see how she gets on the scale on Friday.
I think this is Polyana's last fight in the UFC. And Emily Whitmore is going to punch a ticket.
She really needs to do something, and I like Spitfire Whitmire, as they call her.
Awesome.
So yeah, I want to see her do well, and I was real upset to see her on the scale last time. It was crushing to see her. It looked like she was dead trying to stand on the scale. It's terrible.
That's heartbreaking.
They really got to do something in the UFC with that.
All right, jumping way up into the welterweight division, Sean Brady, 12-0, undefeated, going up against 14-6 Christina Aguilera. Christian Aguilera.
Close enough.
Yeah.
I almost wrote it like that earlier.
That's funny.
Sean Brady, great fighter. Undefeated. They can't seem to crack the code. It's not super exciting. Gets a lot of decision wins. Just seems to do better than everybody. He's better than, he's stronger and he's better in certain situations. He's got 2 wins in the UFC, 2 decisions. Court McGee, great veteran. And Ismail Nardayev. Those are some pretty good opponents. Christian Aguilera had a KO win versus Anthony Ivy in June as his debut to the UFC.
Wow.
So, I don't know, man. I like Sean Brady. I don't know if anybody can crack this.
I'm a undefeated whore. So
you are a hoe for the O.
I am a hoe for the O. Hoe for the O. Hashtag that, baby. Yeah. So yeah, I gotta go with Sean Brady.
Yeah, he's a hard thing to crack.
Yeah. In the men's featherweight division, coming back into the octagon after a nice win in the featherweight division, Alex Caceres, 16-12 and 1 no contest, going up against 10-2. Giga Chikaze.
Yeah, Giga had to pull out.
What?
Yeah, he got a last-minute injury.
No!
We got Austin Springer.
Austin Springer?
Coming in on a debut, local dude to fill in. And it's pretty interesting because he was on the Contender Series in 2018 and got a rear naked choke against Giga Chikaze. And didn't get a UFC contract for it.
But Giga gets one.
But he ended up with a contract.
Wow.
Miraculous turn events. Just goes to show that you can win on the Contender and not get a contract.
Yeah, and you can lose on Contender and get a contract.
Right. Well, or get another Contender fight, which is what Giga did.
Yeah.
But yeah, since then he's had 3 wins in a row in the regional promotions. So I mean, he's been winning since that win against Giga. Alex Caceres with 2 unanimous decisions last after losing some fights. But that last win against Chase Hooper, who was just too inexperienced to fight the likes of Caceres, but
way too inexperienced.
But gave him hell as much as he could.
It was a good fight.
Caceres was pretty dominant though.
Caceres is one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. Definitely not in like the top 20 or anything. Bruce Leroy.
Yeah.
I've loved him since the moment I saw him come to the UFC. He's had some. I think most of his fights that he lost came from decisions. I've seen him get choked. I think he got
11-9 in the UFC.
Yeah.
20 fights in the UFC. Super experienced.
Yeah. He's fun to watch.
It's just up and down what you're gonna see from him.
Yeah.
Can he stay dominant
it's about
without
his
making
matchup.
Mistakes?
Yeah.
We'll see what Austin Springer can bring. It's exciting, but I gotta go with Caceres.
I'm going with Caceres. I love him too much. I was gonna go with Caceres even if it was Giga, because I love me some Giga.
Yeah, I do.
I
love his skill set.
Yeah, he's a great fighter to watch. I think he came. Did he just come off of a loss though?
He did.
Yeah.
I believe it was a hard-fought split decision.
Yeah. All right, in the middleweight division, Alessio Chirico, 12-4, going up against 23-7, Zach Cummings.
Yeah. Both of these dudes haven't fought in at least a year.
It's been that. I remember Zach Cummings.
Zach Cummings' a decision loss versus Amari Akhmedov in 2019.
Okay.
And Alessio Di Chirico with 2 decision losses in 2019 and a bunch of cancels since then.
Oh, I don't like cancels.
So Di Chirico 2-2 in the UFC. Zach Cummings 8-4 in the UFC, much more experience.
Yeah. I gotta go with my boy Zach Cummings.
I'm gonna go with Zach. Di Chirico is like another up and down. You don't know.
All right, in the main event of the prelims, Maki Pitolo, 13-3, going up against the undefeated 7-0, Impa Kasanganu? Kasangane? Okay. Right? Kasangane. Yeah, that sounds right.
Right. That's the best I got. I didn't see him on the Contender, but that's where he's from, so I don't know how to pronounce his name. Usually I just watch like a clip and let John Anik say it, and then repeat whatever he says.
Okay, I like that.
So it's never me correcting you; it's John Anik.
Oh, all right.
But I mean, he's the number 1 commentator. I figure he gets their names right before he says them.
Yeah, you got to get it right.
But Maki Pitolo, some bad luck in the UFC. He's 1-2. He had that guillotine loss to Darren Stewart on August 8th. Of this month.
Wow.
So and that was in the first round, so he's looking to just jump back in and rebound from the loss. We got a lot of guys coming in quick You know?
I mean, a lot of turnaround fighters now.
Impa Kasangane, decision win versus Anthony Adams on the Contender August 11th.
Wow.
This month.
Wow.
He earned his contract on August 11th, and here he is
now
making
he's
his
fighting before
debut.
the month's even over.
And that was a decision.
So he went to 3.
Yeah. I get Maki Pitolo losing by guillotine quick.
Yeah.
You get choked, you can fight quick.
Probably didn't take too much damage.
Right.
If any. I still got to go with Impa.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kasangane.
I'm a hoe for the O.
And Pitolo hasn't impressed me.
Yeah.
He got one victory by ground and pound, but it was against...
Well, who was it against?
Yeah, against a trash bag.
Exactly. All right, so in the light heavyweight division, starting the main card, Magomed Ankalaev, 13-1, going up against the 15-5, 1-0 contest. Eon Kudalaba.
Yeah, I've heard Eon and Ewan.
I'll go with Eon.
Eon
Kudalaba.
Kudalaba.
This fight has a very good backstory. You know, if you watched the fight before, Eon tried to do like a bait and switch, pretending to be rocked. Ref calls the fight. Yeah. Instantly reacts. Caused his own defeat.
When playing possum goes wrong.
Yeah, playing possum goes wrong. It was a good. It had potential to be a good trick.
Yeah.
It wasn't working. You did it for too long. You lost the fight.
Yeah, I mean, he got hit with a shot. Yeah. Is what started it. So.
But then, like, the 4 shots after it were all blocked.
Right. And he wobbled his head, but he did it so much that he fooled the ref.
Yeah.
The
you're
ref
too
thought he was
good.
Legitimately hurt.
Yeah, you're too good at faking.
I certainly wasn't fooled at home.
No.
He was still throwing super hard punches.
And to me, it looked fake.
Yeah.
It did look fake.
And he was still throwing super hard is the biggest thing,
you
know. But, Eon Kudalaba is, what do we got? 4-4 in the UFC. He's had some good wins, but this one could really put him up there. And I like his fighting style a lot. He had the great ground and pound victory over Khalil Roundtree before that Ankalaev fight. Really worked him. Where it really looked like he caught his stride as a fighter. Like he stopped playing games.
And Roundtree came off a huge victory over I can't even think of his name. Anderson or something like that. Anders.
Yeah. Eric Anders.
Absolutely.
And when he secured that win against Roundtree, I thought that was a turning point for Kudalaba. And Ankalaev, 4-1 in the UFC. He lost his debut against Paul Craig by submission, but since then he's got two KOs and a decision win.
And that submission loss?
He lost by submission to
Paul
Paul
Craig. But when he lost the submission to Paul Craig, it was because he got I think he got overzealous and overcommitted to the position, and I think he put himself in a guillotine.
Yes, while winning.
Yeah, while winning.
Right. And since then KOs 2 opponents, it gets a nice decision and gets that gimme TKO.
Yeah, it's definitely a gimme.
Against Ion. But,
I like Ankalaev.
I do. I think he's the better fighter. I think Kudalaba is raw emotion.
Yeah.
He could catch him with something big, though.
You know what,
He certainly throws hard.
One thing I don't want to see again, and I thought it was hugely disrespectful, is when Kudalaba was getting his name, getting his announcement in the fight. He walks over and literally walks into Ankalaev. Like, that should never happen. No. You should be fined. Right. You, suspended. There should be some serious consequences to that.
He's like I said, he's all emotion. He does stuff like that, in the stare downs. He likes to scream and stuff. Yeah.
That's the ultimate form of disrespect, and I don't want that in my fighters.
And my biggest thing was, where was the fucking ref or the security?
Why
would the ref let him walk straight in front of him, right over to him? And the security guard was standing next to Magomed. What are you doing?
It was ridiculous.
He just let him get in his face. Yeah.
I don't know. All right, in the featherweight division, Ricardo Lamas, 19-8, going up against the 13-4 Bill Algeo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an Algeo. It's EO. Yeah. It looked like a G to me. Algeo. Yeah.
I mean, Ricardo Lamas, I know he's always been a guy on your list that you like. I liked him forever. WEC standout.
He's just a fighter's fighter.
Been around so long, great, classy veteran. 10-6 in the UFC. Tons of experience. His last 3 fights, Lost to Mirsad Bektic. Can't be mad at that. Big time win over Darren Elkins. And then he gets knocked out by Calvin Kattar in that last fight. That was vicious.
Yeah, it was.
But, you know,
and it's Calvin Kattar.
Kattar, we're talking about somebody who might be, you know, coming up.
If
on
not
the
fighting for the belt,
right?
He's gonna. If he's not fighting for the belt, he might be getting the belt. So
absolutely. Bill Algeo debut was in August and got a decision win August 13th at that event.
Wow, August 13th, and he's already.
Oh no, fighting. Sorry, he's. This is his UFC debut.
Contender Series he won. Oh,
no, it was a regional show.
Oh, okay.
But he fought on August 13th to a decision.
Wow.
That's why I wrote it down. Because the man's coming 2 weeks' notice and he fought a 3-round decision.
This is a tough one, man, for me, because Ricardo Lamas, you know, he's been off and on, but I really like him. I want to see a resurgence.
Right, and I don't know a damn thing about this dude.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Lamas.
I like the fact that he's down to fight a big name like Lamas on that much notice, you know, that short, but it's hard to bet against Lamas. Gotta go with him.
All right, women's flyweight division, Ji-Yeon Kim, 9-2-2, and then 11-3, Alexa Grasso.
I like this fight.
Yeah.
Ji-Yeon Kim, 3-2 in the UFC. She had a loss to Antonina Shevchenko in 2018, but had that great win versus Nadia Kassem in her last fight. She came out, I'm sure you remember, she came out and she was like crying on her entrance.
Yeah.
She was super emotional.
Super emotional.
It was just like the moment just meant so much to her, you know?
I remember that.
Boy, did she I thought Nadia Kassem was, you know, going to be this big thing coming into the UFC, and Kim put it on her.
Put it on her.
Very, very impressive win. And Alexa Grasso, 3-3 in the UFC. She's had some bad luck in her last two. She had a win in 2019. She's not as active. She had the win in 2019 versus Kovalkiewicz. Quality opponent, but not top, you know, and a loss versus Esparza in 2019 as well.
I like the new fighter. I like Kim.
I like Kim. I really do. Alexa Grasso is really, you know, she's touted as a big name, but I've never really seen much of her.
And I feel like we're going to find out that it's Kim Ji-Yeon and not Ji-Yeon Kim. I feel like we always find that out at the fight, that it's actually Kim Ji-Yeon.
Yeah, I mean, she's Korean. It could be written wrong. You never know.
All right, in the welterweight division, Robbie Lawler, 28-14 and 1 no contest, going up against the 23-8 Neil Magny. And this has excitement written all over it.
Yeah, I might be more excited about this than the main event.
I am more excited about this than the main event.
Because I believe this could be a superior level of skill. Robbie Lawler, you know, great veteran, but we never, you know, we tend to
He's
never
looking for
know.
the counter.
We never know which Robbie Lawler we're gonna get.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the conservative Robbie Lawler that just lost to Covington and didn't do enough when we all know he could have did more. You know,
or do we get the guy who fought
Rory McDonald?
Rory McDonald.
Are we gonna get that, or the guy who fought Carlos Condit?
Yeah.
Or the guy who fought Johnny Hendricks? I mean, are we gonna get that Robbie
I
Lawler?
want that guy to come back,
right.
But I think against a guy like Neil Magny, he isn't gonna get the opportunity.
Unfortunately, Robbie's looking at 3 losses in a row right now. Dos Anjos, Askren, we all know that's BS.
Yeah, that was a BS win.
And Colby Covington, which is a real loss.
That's a real loss.
You know,
a real loss.
Neil Magny was injured for a long time, but, you know, coming off the long hiatus, he got himself 2 big-time, dominant, unanimous decision wins in a row. Li Junlang, who is a big-time up-and-comer, and Anthony Rocco Martin as well.
Yeah, those were big victories.
Big wins. Magny's in serious form. You know, if we're going to judge by, you know, the recent form, I said Magny got it in the bag.
All day.
But you never know which Robbie Lawler you're going to see.
Well, I look forward to seeing a resurgence, but no matter what, I look forward to seeing an excellent fight.
Right. I would love to see Robbie be the Robbie of old, but I think Magny's going to get him.
Mm-hmm. All right, in the main event, light heavyweight division, Anthony Smith, 33-15, going up against the 12-2 Alexander Rakic. And you know what? I don't understand this fight. Homeboy just came off a fight where he said his teeth felt loose. Yeah. He got his brain beat in to the point where fans were saying that it was wrong to have not stopped the fight. And now you're going to put him up against a guy who only wants to bludgeon your face.
Yeah, a killer.
A
straight killer.
A murderer.
Yeah, straight killer. maybe because of Rakic's last loss, which I think is bull, personally. He's 4-1 in the UFC, Rakic. KO's Devin Clark. He had a unanimous decision win to start. He KO's Devin Clark, KO's another person, KO's Jimmy Manuwa, and then gets a split decision loss against Ozdemir.
Wait, that was a loss?
Yeah, which I totally don't agree with.
Because in my mind, he won that fight.
Yeah, because he did. But Ozdemir came away with the decision.
I forgot about that.
It was very competitive, but Ozdemir was so damaged. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was because at the end of the fight, Rakic looked fresh, and Ozdemir looked like he'd been in a car wreck.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a very bad decision. I think Rakic should be 5-0 in the UFC.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rakic. Yeah.
I totally believe that this dude is, is gonna be, a title challenger. Rakic. I said that after he knocked out Manuwa. Super explosive, super aggression. He's hungry. Anthony Smith don't have that anymore. I don't think. Looking at his record while doing the research for this fight, it's crazy. The man has fought way too much.
Way too much.
And
he goes through wars and he gets beat up.
We're talking nearly 50 fights in his mixed martial arts career now. After having an extensive amateur career, and I mean, there comes a point where
I think he should be a middleweight.
When you're taking 5-round wars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Over and over. Like, he's never had an easy fight. He's always had to come from behind, even on the big wins.
Yep.
He's always had to take some serious damage to get his win. Glover Teixeira really put a beating on him.
Not long ago.
And it was just, in May that he took.
Really? It was May?
It was before.
I felt like that was so close.
It was actually after, that the UFC came back. It was one of the first shows back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Glover just put a beating on him.
Well,
I don't know that it's a good thing.
I don't think it is.
I mean, his best win, I think, is the rear naked choke versus Alexander Gustafsson that he had before the Glover Teixeira fight. And obviously he fought John Jones for the title and did pretty okay. I just think
he maintained.
I just think Rakic is, he's on his way to the top 5.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he'll be in the talk of the Jan Blachowicz and the Dom Reyeses and the Thiago Santoses before it's,
I feel like he needs to get more control over his punches, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's wrap it up here. The fight's coming up. It's going to be an exciting one. Don't miss it. We got a great pay-per-view coming up real soon. Lots more fights, lots more content. I think we are going to do a little Bellator, UFC kind of conversation as like a side episode.
And I think we might have to throw the one championship in there too.
Yeah, we might have to do all of it.
Their shows are backing up and running, and we got so we got to start covering that again for sure.
So we're back in it. We're going to get more and more content as much as possible. But we'll see you next week. Until then, have a good night.